I wanted to take you back to 2013, right before you take charge of the Sierra Leone national team. I know you'd worked in Ghana previously with Right to Dream and also the Craig Bellamy Foundation. But how did that opportunity present itself? And maybe you could tell me, who rang your cell phone and what was your first reaction to the opportunity?
Yeah, as you say, I was in Sierra Leone already at the time when the national team job came up, and it was really a case of, as in football often, is right time, right place. The previous coach, a Swedish coach, had just left, and there was a few World Cup qualifiers remaining, and sort of I became aware that it was likely they were going to appoint someone from within Sierra Leone. Now, naturally, in their heads at the FA and the Ministry of Sport, that probably meant appointing a Sierra Leonean to the role. But I sort of, I had the belief and confidence that I was like, look, if you get me into that room where I can speak with the people who'll be making this decision, I think my quality and my sort of character would come across very well, and that I'd have a good chance at getting it. So I went and spoke to the sort of directors at my academy and said, look, would you be open to me going for this and potentially job sharing if I were to get it? And I think they probably said yes, thinking that it wasn't likely that a 27-year-old would be appointed national team coach. But 4 or 5 days after, I had an initial meeting with some people within sort of the sports federation, the Ministry of Sport and the FA, and then I got to meet a few days later the key stakeholders, the General Secretary and the Minister of Sport himself. And a day or two later, they were on the phone, offering me the position. And it was a great honor to be offered the position. But it's funny, people have always said, was I shocked at being offered it? And my answer to that is genuinely no, I wasn't shocked, because I felt I was the right person for the job. I'd been in Sierra Leone for 3.5 years prior to this. I'd watched a lot of games. I knew the culture of the country, and I felt I was good enough to do the job and capable of doing the job. So it was, it was very pleasing and very honoring to be offered it and to take up that position. But it wasn't necessarily as big a surprise for me as it maybe was for other people.
Well, at the time, being 27 years old and going for a job like that, what did you say in that room to kind of convince them that you were the right guy for the job? Obviously, like you said, and I think after you said this in an interview, that not everybody wanted you in that position. So how did you influence everybody in that room to have them say 2 days later, this is the guy?
I think ultimately the thing that influenced them has been the same thing that's sort of allowed me to sort of move forward in my career from the very beginning. It was like a real close attention to detail. Now, I know everyone says that, but for example, for that interview, I managed to get hold of, I think it was the last 4 Sierra Leone games on DVD, and they were due to play Tunisia in the upcoming game, and I managed to get hold of some of the Tunisia games on DVD. And basically I put together 2 dossiers, one on Sierra Leone and what we could do better and how we could improve the Sierra Leone team medium term. But then I also took Tunisia and said, right, well, short term, we need to win this next game at home to have any chance of going to the World Cup. How do we do that? And so I broke all of these things down, and over the course of maybe 20 minutes outlined exactly how I felt we could beat Tunisia. And I literally walked out of the room and said, I left it with them. I said, there is the dossier. That's how to do it. That's the street map. But ultimately, I don't think anyone else can implement it, because anyone can do tactics. Anyone can pull up a coaching manual and stuff. But I think character and how you interact with people is the key sort of ingredient to success. And really that was it. I sort of said, look, if you think there's someone else who can do this plan better than me, far away, there's the plan. But ultimately they were convinced that I was the person to go. And we didn't quite beat Tunisia. It took a 92nd minute equalizer from them to deny us. That was mildly frustrating, because the way results ended up panning out, had we held on to take the 3 points in that game, we would have been in the playoff for the World Cup. So, all good plans, and stuff. But yeah, it was about attention to detail, I think, was the key thing.